Nobody's forgotten Dorian, and nobody should.
The Dan York State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
Welcome in on this Friday evening. In my state of mind, we're going to take a break from the politics and all that's going on, unless you guys want to do a hashtag Me Too conversation.
We could.
Well, you want to? Hey, you know what? With this crowd, anything, who knows what could happen here. We'll get back to all of that and what's happening with the Warwick schools and what's going on with the Pawtucket Paw Sox financing. And I'm sure by this time on a Friday evening, since we tape this program on Thursdays for Friday shows, that Donald Trump has probably said 16 things that's upset somebody. The whole world continues to turn on an axis. I'm just very excited that the Yankees are about to close this thing out. Oh, don't say that. Not good. You can never say that kind of thing. Pleased to have you aboard. You know the book, right? Of course you do. Leaving a Mark that Nicole wrote about Dorian, and Dorian Murray still lives in the hearts and minds of so many, but of course we always run the risk as time marches on to, you know, kind of put it in another place or leave it on a shelf. It'll be an important one, and we shouldn't do that. And so this is our third show, fourth time?
I think
you guys
it's
have
our
been together
third
with me?
Yeah,
We're-
time.
So bottom line is we need to push the book, and the book is available in
Amazon, Barnes and Noble.
all those places that you find books.
Yes.
And it's such a beautiful testimony, and Nicole can re-explain what that book is all about. Nicole wrote the book, and of course Melissa is mom. And we never start the show without asking how you're doing. And so I've already asked you how you're doing, but now I have to formally ask you, how you doing?
You know, doing okay, as best as I think I can be. Holidays are coming up, so it's starting to add another level of emotions to me. But overall, getting through day by day.
You know, it's really amazing. I don't know who actually came up with the strong thing. Is it you? Is it because everywhere now, the Houston Astros. Huh?
Yeah.
The Houston
Yeah.
Astros. I mean, they had a big storm. You know,
Yeah.
so it's Houston strong. Is there anybody that's not hashtagging somebody strong?
Yeah, I don't know.
The D strong thing. I don't care. Who came up with it?
So the D strong, a family friend came up with that early in his diagnosis. She said, "Oh, just stay D strong for Dorian Strong, obviously," and we called him D. I can't take credit for coming up with the strong slogan. I honestly think it might have been more of a Boston
Marathon.
Strong,
Yeah,
because of the Boston Marathon.
It was Boston Strong
we
first.
were
first.
It was.
Yep, and then it was shortly after that D Dorian picked up that nickname as well.
But it was appropriate. It was the Boston Strong thing. Now that we all regroup on this, established the concept. I think Dorian blew the cap off of the concept. Now everybody's kind of got to figure out another word. Seems to me, right?
True.
Right.
Well, it's ad nauseum now. You can't even appreciate. Now it's Vegas strong.
Yeah.
So it's like the thoughts and prayers, the terminology where people don't want to hear it anymore. They want, you know, it to be tied to something that has some substantial
Yeah, the
meaning.
Vegas thing is just such a horror show. There are no English words in the vocabulary that match the kind of raw fear, anxiety, horror, disbelief, conceptual incapability, all of that to actually try to put your mind around
terrible,
what happens there. So I'm sure none of us here want to minimize what Vegas is going through.
No, absolutely
But
not.
in a world where everything is branding,
Right.
Right.
It's
hard.
It's the antithesis of minimizing it. For me, it's the horror of it is so strong that you don't want to be desensitized.
remind everybody why you wrote the book.
I wrote the book because I wanted to bring awareness to pediatric cancer. I wanted to shed a light to the fact that there is hope in the face of such an awful and hideous diagnosis, and that you can find some light, some hope, and faith in the prognosis even.
Right, and so you could go on our website at foxprovidence.com and see other conversations that I've had with these ladies to talk about, where we talk about how you reached out and the process and how you guys connected. It's really a beautiful story, so go back on the website and look at some of that, because we're going to move forward here with some other concepts this evening. Book sales are?
Book sales are good. Yep.
Yeah, book sales are?
Not enough, but
See?
yeah,
Okay.
We always want more.
That's
We always
right.
want more, but we're so grateful for the book sales that we do have.
Right.
And the
We are.
proceeds are for?
They go to trusted peds nonprofits, including the DJM Foundation.
Yep.
So we want to make sure that we support not only the financial hardships that families face when being diagnosed, but also the research component as well. So we want to keep the momentum going. We want children to get this book when they get diagnosed. We want families to be able to hold tight to it too for some solace. But yeah, we're going to keep going. We have the fundraiser on Saturday.
Yep.
So
Be promoting the book Saturday.
Couple years now gone by. How many? Two and a half?
Not quite 2 years. It's about
March 8th.
March 8th will be 2 years.
Yeah, that's my birthday, by the way. I've told
I
you.
know, yeah.
we-
So I have a special.
That's right.
I always think about Dorian. On the who wants to think about the birthday anymore anyway? I mean, not at this stage. But
Certainly
I'm trying to go
don't.
the other direction. It feels like yesterday. It feels like a long time ago. On what, 30-second intervals? How does it
It's
feel?
funny because it goes back and forth. It feels like it was a lifetime ago that I lost him, but it also feels like it was just yesterday. You know, I remember everything about that day like it was yesterday, and I miss him every moment, but it goes back and forth between feeling like it's been a lifetime without him and then it's only been a short time without him. So every day is a little bit different in how I can understand it and take it in.
Are you in a place now, and we're going to meet some other guests because you've got some people that you want us to speak to who also have had some challenging life, or if I look at this
ground
carefully,
rising.
end of life near experiences. What are you doing? You're like the mastermind. What are you cooking up here? What's going on?
I'm definitely not. I feel more like the providential puppet, but literature is what brought us all together. And so Melissa and I, we have our backstory. And then there was a woman her name is Rosemary Heath. She was involved at a rampage at the Bertucci's at the mall in Taunton, where her husband was murdered when they were trying to save the waitress.
It's a terrible story.
So it's horrible in so many ways, and yet you meet this woman, and her tenacity, her humor, her fortitude is just mind-blowing. So she was a fan of Leaving a Mark. She was a supporter. And so she reached out asking me to help her kind of springboard a memoir. And so I had her story and then Melissa's story in tandem. And then you'll meet Lisa and Caitlin, both of which came into my life through literature. One woman asked me for books for an auction. The other is trying to start her memoir. And I just thought, well, we're all within a 120-mile radius. These women have collectively been seen on CNN, MSNBC, Inside Edition, New York Times, just phenomenal women, and we're all within this 1 hour span. What if I can get them all in one room? And I can have them collectively share their stories. And I'm the least qualified person for this because A, I'm not an event planner, and B, I suffer and battle anxiety and depression. And so for me, that was the first time I've ever come clean about my battles. And we were talking about Las Vegas. I felt that it's a time more than ever to talk about people who rise, people who face depression with the opioid epidemic out of control and the news and the polarities and everybody seeming to be in an uproar. I wanted people to be able to come together in one space and cheer on these amazing women and then be blessed by their stories as well. All of these women are just incomparable and phenomenal.
And so what are you doing?
So we had a conference. We weren't able to come before the conference, but our goal is that we can continue to go to colleges, churches, events, and speak either individually or collectively about rising from the ground up and conquering one's medical challenges or...
I'm not exactly sure what we're showing on the screen there. What is that? That is...
Those are pictures from the conference we had last week, from when we all spoke
God,
about
it looks
our
like
stories.
my iPhone. Could you put enough pictures on there? I mean, I don't even know how to... It looks like somebody does not understand how to operate the pictures. Just put the pictures up on the screen. How many pictures are on there?
That was a montage. We had a montage.
Oh,
but,
yeah. The trouble was not in your television. That's all I can tell you.
So Rosemary spoke about the loss of her husband and her fortitude with rising from the ground up after a horrible, violent
So is this another
event.
brand, Rising from the Ground Up thing?
From the Ground Up is basically a subsidiary to Leaving a Mark, and we
Got you.
basically want to continue to talk about the challenges that we faced. Melissa, for the first time, I'd never heard her speak about her challenges from the motherly perspective. It was the first time that she had talked publicly about her challenges facing Dorian's diagnosis, facing his death. We had talked about Dorian hundreds of times, and the science behind it and the prognosis, but never her story, which was phenomenal.
So what are you saying now?
Well, this was more instead of sharing what Dorian went through on his journey and how I was reflecting on it during his journey, and not only his diagnosis, you know, trying to stay strong for him, but to stay strong for myself. And then after he passed away, trying to take that sadness and this horrible event and turn it into something positive by putting together the foundation and helping other families. So it was really just my story leading up to Dorian's diagnosis, through his diagnosis, and now what I'm doing after it.
It sounds to me, listen, I'm no pop psychologist. I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so perhaps I could. It sounds to me like this is a healthy part of your mourning process, that you're able to at least begin some transition
Right,
to talk
yeah.
about yourself and what you went through.
Right.
Yes?
I find that my way of grieving that I've learned is to grieve through action. And I can't sit in a room by myself and take my grief and sit with it and be there with it. I have to move forward with it. And that's how I'm healing in the best way that I can, is to show somebody else that you can still move on
It's a
after
fine
such
line, though,
tragedy.
isn't it? It's such a fine line. You got to be with it. You got to experience it. You got to let it wash over you.
There-
You got to.
there-
You got to. You
yeah.
just got to.
You can't ignore it.
And you
I
got-
can't ignore it,
yeah.
but
Got to let yourself to be knocked
yeah.
down a little bit before you get back up.
yeah.
Right?
But I spent a good year after Dorian's death really just sort of trying to find out how to grieve the best and the healthiest way that I can, and I'm finding that through action is what sits with me
It's
best.
complex, isn't it?
It's extremely complex. Yeah.
But you
Yep.
didn't waste a lot of time. You didn't waste a lot of time.
He wouldn't have
You were an
wanted
advocate
me
when he
to.
was here.
Yeah.
We were all hoping for
a
better
miracle.
outcome.
Yeah.
It wasn't long after he went to a better place that you were kicking in, that you guys got involved, and we get this stuff involved. But so it's not like you gave yourself a lot of downtime.
It's
in this
true.
situation.
If you're not the first person to point that out to me,
You know.
it's true.
I say that out of
It's true.
observation and out of
Yeah.
and out of care. I mean, it just you know.
Yeah.
But you're your best judge as to how you're doing in this
Yep.
whole situation.
And I've got professionals helping me too, so.
Who stay at other places rather than the Holiday Inn Express. More on Weekend Backstage. All right, in this concept of bringing people together with their stories, remind me again, what is the we're doing a lot of work here tonight. With the concept
From the ground
from the
up.
ground up. Thank you for saving me. This is Lisa. She just saved me, and this is Caitlin. Both of whom have some pretty tough stories. I really don't want to get into the nitty-gritties of each of your health scares, but you had a good one.
I sure did.
You want to give me the 30-second cliff note on that?
I sure can do that. So it actually has been about 20 years of health challenges. I had my first stroke at age 21 and didn't realize that stroke could happen to young women. Over the course of the next couple of years, I had 2 more strokes, went through intense treatment for a disease, very debilitating but not discouraged. I was eventually declared in remission. I became a volunteer and an advocate, and really kind of gave back to the American Heart Association and American Stroke Association. 2 years ago, I had a 4th stroke out of the blue and was diagnosed with a rare brain disease called moya-moya disease. There is no cure for moya-moya, but you can have surgeries. So I flew across the country and had 2 brain bypass surgeries where they moved the blood vessels to increase blood flow to your brain. I had those a week apart and was out in California for about a month. Had some speech difficulties, had some TIAs afterwards, but I'm happy to say I am well today.
You look great.
I'm doing great. I'm back at it, and it was a very hard thing for 20 years, really. I've had on and off with health problems, but I'm here to tell the story and raise awareness and make a difference. So.
Okay. And Caitlin, you got misdiagnosed.
I did. I had something called peripartum cardiomyopathy, and it's pretty much heart failure in pregnancy, but it goes often misdiagnosed because signs of heart failure mimic signs of pregnancy. So I was diagnosed by 2 ERs with pneumonia, only to find out that I was in congestive heart failure.
I hate it when that happens.
It's a bummer.
You look okay.
Yeah.
You made it.
Yep.
You said something like,
I did.
I don't think you're right? Or you had a casual conversation with an ER doctor and something clicked and thank God you're here type of thing?
Yeah, I did. I kind of self-advocated, which is hard to do when you have professionals telling you otherwise, but I did. And then miraculously, I did have a GP come see me that thankfully recognized that I was actually in heart failure. So.
And you're good now?
Yeah, I'm stable.
Okay. You smile when you say that, kind of like that's not the whole story?
You know what? It's just something lifelong now, because when your heart gets that
kind of a jolt.
Poorly functioning,
right.
it never really goes back to normal. It's a maintenance program. But
right. So, what are the morals of the story here? You're each, I'm guessing, talking about your acute situations, because that's the foundation for your life experience, right? And then there's a common ground between you, I guess, in terms of what message you're trying to send. Why don't you go to the common ground part?
You know, I think there's a couple things we're doing. From the ground up, we were able to share our personal stories and overcoming adversity and how to stay strong and actually how to feel your emotions and be sad, but then pick up and move on. So I think we both have spoke to that. And collectively, we, along with one other woman, have started a nonprofit called Sisters at Heart. And our mission is to help people that suffer from heart disease and stroke. Okay. So we're based in North Attleboro, and we, are small but mighty, and we're having our second fundraiser this weekend. It's called the Hearttoberfest. And last year we had almost 200 people. We raised about $30,000, which was pretty exciting considering we were just getting started. And we have helped fund some research, and we help families who are in acute situations from heart disease and stroke.
That's this weekend?
Yes.
Nobody told us about that. We'll put all that information up on the website at foxprovidence.com so that we can help you along with that.
Wonderful.
Where, when, how, what?
It is the Hearttoberfest. It's held in North Attleboro, Massachusetts at
Okay.
Bella Sarno, 6 o'clock.
All right. So
tickets are available still.
We'll give you details on that. So talk to me about the common ground that you've reached between yourselves, with our previous two guests, the whole thing.
So when I met Nicole and Lisa, in talking, anyone that's faced adversity sort of recognizes that, like you said, you either sort of wallow in it and you don't move on, or you figure out a way to find the positives and move forward. And I think that's the biggest common ground. Even in the speaking event and what we're doing, it's about how you find purpose and sort of that silver lining in the bad things and turning them into something positive that you can help others and make a difference.
I think everybody who's ever had a life-challenging experience will tell you, if and when they come out of it, they come out of it completely differently, right?
Right.
All of a sudden, it feels cliche to suggest, well, it gave me perspective. Well, if it doesn't,
right.
Where are you? What changed for you?
Probably the biggest thing for me was just how I lived my life. I think when you're young, you sort of feel invincible, and time's your friend. And like you were talking about birthdays, time slowly not becomes your friend, and you realize that it's short and you have to make the most of it. So you're either going to live life in a way where you're enjoying every minute and you're doing the things that you want to do, and you're telling the people that are important to you that they're important. I don't think many young people live that way. I think that sort of comes with time and age and wisdom. And I think when you face something like this, you realize sort of how precious it all is, and just you have to make the most of it. So.
Same thing.
I would agree, yes. It's interesting because I went through a transformation in my early 20s when I was sick, because I spent 4 years through really rough treatments and not working, not doing what I wanted to be doing at age 20. So I kind of had this perspective change. And then it's interesting because life happens. You get back to doing what you're doing, and it went away. And I would never wish an illness upon somebody. However, I'm very thankful for what it has brought me. Again, now at 39, when I was 39, having this stroke. And it wasn't even in the time, but you do realize what's important in life. Who's important in your life, and how do you live your life? And so I think it's a combination of the people that you surround yourself with and the things that you're doing, and also the impact you make and what is your purpose. And I think that is a commonality all of us have shared, that we have been through these very trying times, yet we're not ready to give up. We're not going to stop. We are going to rise from the ground up.
Let me ask you a weird question. Can you hang out comfortably with people who haven't had trying times?
I can, but it's definitely interesting. It's there's definitely a connection between people that you have gone through something big like you. There's definitely that. So yes, you can, but it's a different dynamic, I think.
Yeah, I think you can. I mean, I think you appreciate what everyone brings to the table. I mean, some are bringing more trying, adverse times. Other people, you know, haven't. I think it's frustrating to see people wasting their lives. And I think that's something when you're a survivor that, you know, you want to change. If you see it in someone, you sort of want to say, wake up, you know.
I also think when you talk about that, the people that have gone through it with you are part of your team. And so even though some of my friends have not had
That's true.
life challenging situations, they've walked it with me. And my family has walked it with me. And so I think that there's that commonality that exists, thankfully, because, you know, if not, life would be a lot of, you know, serious conversations. So it's good to have the fun.
I'm glad you're both doing so well. I don't mean to be nonchalant about that, but I do. And all the information about both the movement and the fundraiser on fox5news.com. Final thoughts when we come back. Stay with us. I wanted to bring Melissa back because I really didn't say goodbye. I actually to Nicole too, but Nicole will find a way to get back on. So it's just make sure you pick up, put the book up again if you would, just to make sure that you recognize it by its site. You ought to be checking out Amazon or whatever. It's just a moment that we shouldn't forget, and Dorian shouldn't be forgotten. What do you think about as you see these other women now walking in and out of your life, Nicole's life? All this thing. What is it?
It's really amazing because without Dorian's story, I would have never met these women.
Right.
You know, Lisa, Caitlin, Nicole, Susan, Rosemary, the other two women who were a part of From the Ground Up. And so many really empowering people have come into my life because of Dorian's fight. And I feel honored to know these people, and I feel really privileged that I've had the opportunity to meet people who overcome their own type of adversity because they encourage me to continue my path of
Well,
overcoming.
it's kind of, you know, listen, the path that you're on seems to be, given the horror that you've been through, really constructive, but let's not forget that your kid wanted to be famous.
Yeah,
He wanted to be famous, and, you know, the more people you know,
exactly,
the closer you're going to be famous, right?
Well, I don't want to be famous, but he certainly
you know what?
did.
You know, you never know. He might be driving a famous force here. You never know.
Well, maybe he's driving something.
He's with you every day, I'm sure.
Absolutely, I carry him with me every day in my bracelet.
Every minute of the day.
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure that people remember that we feel like the entire community lived through that. The community can't forget that we lived through that. So, you know, if you don't have the book, get it. In the meantime, the fundraiser is at Barnes & Noble, October 21st, which is what, Saturday?
This Saturday,
Saturday.
Yep, from 11 to 3.
All right, so get over there, okay? All right, terrific. We wish you well.
Thank you so much, Dan.
All right, good night. Final word when we come back. Stay with us. So, #MeToo has lit the world on fire. Harvey Weinstein has no idea what kind of damage he's done and what kind of residual has come from it. Even here in old Rhode Island, we will talk about what's going on at the State House and all of that next week. We got a lot of things we got to accomplish on the program next week, and of course we try to do the same weekdays 3 to 6 on WPRO. So hopefully Monday you will tune in. See you Monday night as well. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great weekend. Good night.